Pardon the pretty harsh overhead, but I'm in the closet. You know, I think more people should go back into the closet, if you know what I mean. But I don't know. You can't put the toothpaste back into the tube, as they say. So I'm in the closet because I am making a video. And I just put on some fresh pants after my walk outside. Put on some fresh underwear. I put on a fresh shirt. I put on now a fresh pair of pants and fresh socks because I tend to sweat. And rather than putting on exercise clothes for a walk in the woods, I chose just regular street clothes that I was wearing. So yeah, I do exercise though, and I am back to doing yoga. I'm very pleased to announce that. Moving your body is really important. When I don't do it regularly, you don't move the body, you're not able to process and get through whatever's trapped in your tissues. And so the body does hold the score, as that book goes. And so working through grief, working through whatever you have in your body is such a good idea. And it's not always fun, but it's better than being a couch potato and looking like one. Cheers to that. I am drinking beer tonight. Last night I got to... This is story time, by the way. Hello, I'm Kat. This is story time. And how you came to be here, congratulate yourself. Pull up a chair, get a cup of cuppa, get some tea, honey, and we will just talk about life. And that's what this channel is. It's a stream of consciousness talking about life. And there's so many things to talk about. There are so many things in life to talk about. But right now, the biggie is the male and female conundrum, why it's such a warring thing and why there's such a struggle and this rise of male toxicity online. Well, I also know there's female toxicity, but not being one, I can't talk to it. Having experienced the male's toxicity towards me, I can talk to that. So, if you're here to bitch out some female that did you wrong, you're in the wrong place. This is for women who gave it their best and they left a relationship or two or three. I did all long term. 2 marriages. The second one, I really thought it was going to be forever, but I did not at the time know what narcissism was. I was attracted to his perceived masculinity. This is the topic I want to get at. The toxic male, perceived masculinity, and the truth of the strong male that is missing. The strong male is missing in our society, and he has been systematically reduced. I grew up with one as a father, a strong male, in only one sense. Well, 2. Well, okay, let me tell you why he was a strong male. Let me tell you why he was a strong male. He was a strong male because he made a very good living for a family of 4 kids. He was a very good father, and that he came home at the same time, and we had a schedule. And he's not dead yet, but I'm talking about when I was in the family growing up. He was a good father in that he helped me with my math. He was a good father in that I could watch some snow blow the driveway and our path to get to the bus in New Hampshire, because no matter what, you're going to go to school. unless the roads cannot be cleared for the bus to get through. And that's like once in a blue moon, I can remember just a handful of days when we had no school. And it was such a delight because otherwise you had school. I don't remember exactly when it was. Maybe it was in the 70s. We had drifts of snow so high. The drifts of snow were going up higher than a little kid. And we loved it because you suited up and you went outside and you would just be warm. And so, I grew up in New Hampshire, but the coldest winter I ever spent was in Charleston, South Carolina, where I spent my freshman year learning what Southern hospitality was all about. And that's when I learned what prejudice was. I didn't know what it was. I hadn't any black people in my family in the New Hampshire, except for Dr. Darby, who was sending his kids to where I went to school because it was a public school with a private education. I had a private school education in a public school system. That's what made my father a good father as well. He got us out of the suburbs of Nashua and into a place where we didn't fear for our lives getting out the door, which we did. So that may have been what my father saw. My sister and I were molested by the neighborhood boys. I'll tell you how it went. It was a one-time incident. We were probably 3 and 4 years old. I could walk. And my father went, maybe we were 2 and 3, whatever it was. He went look, he was gone. Like my mom, I don't know where she was. I don't know where my other 2 siblings were. Corky and I had the same memory of the boys they said, we'll give you some candy if you let us look at your butt. They wanted to look at our butts, boys. So they took sticks and they put the sticks in between your cheeks, butt cheeks, and they spread them. And it was just for an instant. And I was like, okay, when you're a little kid, what are they going to see? Nothing. You have tight little buns. Nothing splits those. They looked. I remember, okay, I'm waiting for my candy. And then they do it to my sister. And I'm like watching. It was like over in seconds. It wasn't sexual. They were molesting us, but it wasn't molestation like it is now. They were like maybe 2-3 years older than us, but they didn't do anything with their winky dinks. They weren't trying anything with our reproductive organs. As far as I know, they were future, they were going to come out of the closet in the future, if you know what I mean. But for now, they just did that. They promised us candy. And then they left us empty-handed. And then our dad's calling us, and off we go. So then we show up when he went looking for, I don't know, whatever. And we come back with like stick stuff all over our butts. I mean, it was pine trees. Pine trees with the bark. So I'm sure we had like little rough stuff. So now he has to wipe us off. But that is so funny to recall that story and try to tell people that it didn't have a trauma bond attached to it, but it ended up in a song of mine. And it was, when I was a little girl, some boys, they said to me, lift up that dress, child, we'll give you some candy. So I let them have a look around, though they didn't do much else. When they'd finished their prodding, they all began to yell, yeah, no candy for you, child, though you let us take a while. We got what we wanted, left you where we got what we wanted and left you empty-handed. No, I forgot. We got what we wanted and left you empty-handed underneath your dress. Sorry about the mess, and then it goes on and on. So that was the very first verse, and it's just very simple. Dum da da dum da da dum da da dum da dum da da. That's my song, but now some shithead's gonna steal it, or I'm gonna get copyright striked. The last time I sang a song, I got a copyright strike to my own lyrics. Here's to the stupidity of the AI. That's why it's called artificial, everybody. And don't you forget it. Don't you forget it. And also, on YouTube, I kept going in there. I'm looking for women who are happy and they've discovered what I have. There aren't any strong men left, girls. All what's left is leftovers. Sloppy seconds? Not even. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Whatever is left over online is broken men who will then ditch you before in other words, it is true. Men my age want men who are younger because they haven't smartened up yet to their bullshit, and we have. Also, men my age who are messed up want women who are younger because those women will still have hormones that make them blind to the baloney that these weak men dish out. Now, what's a weak man? Any man who can't keep up his act over 2 months. In other words, it's not an act. You actually are nice. It's not an act. You actually are interested in what we have to say. Huh? Okay? So you guys going to hustler, you guys doing this and that, you're going to end up alone, and you're going to end up online looking for women who are wise to your ways. Or they're skank hoes, willing to be whatever because you fix their tire for them. That you act all manly and shit. You know what I do for my male friends? I make them the best home-cooked meal they ever possibly will eat. And then we fix something in the house. A switch, for instance. Sex is priceless, and it's not negotiable. That is with somebody that you really, really connect with. It's not for sale. There aren't enough strong men on this planet that know that, right? And that's why, what I was saying about YouTube, you put in there how women over 50 are much happier and better off without men. And all you come up with is how they're resentful and sad and they made mistakes and they gave up the one. They don't give you the truth. And then that's why the men who comment on my videos that are persnickety and negative and venomous, not charmers, I tell you that much, I'll remove them if they can't say something somewhat intelligent, because you have to have the other side speaking out. But usually it's men who don't listen to the whole video. Oh, imagine that. Low attention span men. There are no T's, there are no A's, and none of this is showing. They're not listening. La, 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 la. Right, men? That are vulgar. If you got this far, pat yourself on the back. You're actually either entertained by me, you know me. Thanks for that. So recently I went here. I no longer have a vagina that smells like the sea because there are no semen. I actually had a woman say this to me. She's like, what? Really? I go, yeah. So her vag must always smell like, a beautiful oyster. fresh saline solution? A mermaid's armpit? I don't know. All I can tell you is when I was like, yeah, it smells like flowers. It's just my regular body now. It doesn't smell like fish. Women's, well, in mine, and then the person, somebody made a really good comment, and they're like, how can you generalize? I go, yeah, you're right. I go walking in the woods, I can't stand the smell of most women's perfume. And you know what's worse? The cologne men wear nowadays. They leave this trail behind them. It's like they will scare away anything that's got a scent-o-meter. So this is a wonderful place. Speaking of oysters. So my father was also very strong in that he kept his, he was very, okay. He was the state champion in 3 different athletic track and field sports. And he's the one that marked off the 50 yards. When I was a kid, we would run it, and he would time it, and he got us interested in running fast. But I think everybody knows the story that I learned how to run fast getting away from the neighborhood boys, the aforementioned ones with the sticks. Well, it just so happened they also had stones, and those stones were pretty big. And they would throw them at us. And they could cause bodily harm. These are dumb Neanderthal boys. Dumb. Throwing rocks at children. So we got to outrun them. We got to run really fast. And I don't have my older sister, Janny, anywhere in my memory. I don't know what she was doing. It was always my sister, my next one up. 11 months between us. Irish twin. And we're estranged. But anyway, she's not a bad person. She's just doesn't have the ability to consider other people's opinions because she's got too much of one about herself. I'll put it to you that way. There's not enough room in her ego for another person's input. Other than, you're so great, one of those. She does recognize quality. And she does have a sense of fairness and honesty to her. But she's very myopic. She's rather stupid. And she doesn't realize how ignorant she is. That's all. She's not trying to be a mean person. She's just not that bright in her ability to scope out and include other people's perspectives. That takes a little slowing down. You have to slow down your own racing thoughts, your own racing horses, if you will. Hold your horses, as they say, and then you have to process that. And some people's input's not worth it, but you have to feel it inside of your body. So that girl my sister, never really learned how to feel. She was based on the reward system. So that she was on the reward system and avoidance of conflict. I was on the avoidance of conflict, but I didn't have the reward system. So that was her handicap. And still is. Yeah. Yeah, so my dad is very strong. He let my mother all our lives, and I can't forgive him for that, but when you have a pathologically narcissistic mother, he needed to stand up to her. He was strong in all those other ways. But, his father was a domineering one. You see, there's all these family patterns, and we're only now having this language of pathological narcissism. What's narcissistic abuse? Oh, he's narcissist, and it's used loosely. All right. A narcissist has a confrontational personality type. They actually thrive on it. They thrive on calamity. They like it. They like to blame somebody for something, even if it's not a big deal. If they're under suspicion, they will shift immediately. If they make a mistake, it's always somebody else's fault. There's always an excuse. Their partner has the worst experience of them because they're a good guy, but to the partner, that partner will know no limits to the abuse that they will dole out for imagined wrongs. You give a narcissist who's pathological an inch, they will take a mile and keep running. You admit to one small thing wrong. Oops, yeah, I forgot to run the disposal in your house when I rinsed the food off of my dishes into the disposal, and then you started the dishwasher. But I'm negligent as your guest. I didn't run the dish disposal after I rinsed my dishes into the sink. My fault, right? Little things like that. It's death by 1,000 cuts, people. And so for some, it's worse. And I'm not going to relive it. It is awful. It is hell on earth. The loneliest I ever felt was in the same house with my second husband, who preferred the cold shoulder treatment and the silent treatment and you simply don't exist treatment to all other treatments for 72 hours at a time. Guess what happened? I received the cold shoulder. I learned to warm up to it. His silent treatment became my silent treat. Prior, when I asked him, "What's wrong, baby? What's wrong? What can I do to fix things?" The problem was all me. I didn't have the house clean enough for him. He's the king. He's coming home. He expects it to be perfect. Didn't matter that I had kids to raise with my first husband. Didn't matter that I was doing a hand-printed, hand-cut postcard marketing campaign to my clients. He wanted it perfect and picked up and neat, and damn it, it wasn't. And I was going to pay, and I paid, and I paid, and I paid for all of these fucktards. So, type in women over 50 who can actually satisfy themselves with their own hands. Don't use the battery gadgets, girls. Get a yoni wand. Women, I am multi-orgasmic. I am feeling it. But we don't require sex every day like these jerk-offs. We don't. We get to hold our power. Because we don't have them constantly tapping in, sucking it off us. Acting like they're such gifts. No, they're not. Only the strong men are. The men who actually are able to recognize the women are gifts to them. If a woman chooses to be in your presence, it's a gift. You should treat her like a precious wonder. And then you can unwrap her and learn to open her and find her secret treasures. But not you guys, not you weak people out there that are single. And women know what I'm talking about. They just view us as one thing and one thing only, and society perpetuates it. We are complicated. Yes. We are emotional. Yes. And we are very, very sane. And we are so sane, we refuse to take abuse from you, weak men who do not honor us. So there. More and more women are recognizing that. You know, the rise of male toxicity is a lot like an overflowing pot that's been boiling too long. Do you want to know what happens to that foam? Well, it gets skimmed off. And what's even better, if it doesn't get skimmed off, if it boils over, that toxic male burns right up. So go back to your drawing boards, Chad, and those that are learning to treat women like objects, because you're so easily led. Do you want to learn what a real man is? You're not going to learn it from me, of course. You're going to learn it from a real man. Look up Owen Benjamin comedy. Other than he does make bad jokes, including mid-aged women and crazy cat ladies. And I claw back in my own way. He's a real man. Enough, everyone. I'm going to sign off. And again, some of you need to go back into the closet.